Excuse me, everyone. It is 7:30, and we're ready to begin. Thank you. Oh, there you are, Ingrid. I was looking for you. We'll ask our student trustee, Ingrid, to lead us in prayer, the anthem, and the oath. Thank you, Ingrid.
In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lent offers us a very special opportunity to grow in our relationship with God and to deepen our commitment to our way of life rooted in our baptism. In our busy world, Lent provides us with an opportunity to reflect upon our patterns, to pray more deeply, experience sorrow for what we've done and failed to do, and to be generous to those in need. In his message of His Holiness Pope Francis for Lent 2018, he says, "Dear brothers and sisters, once again the pasch of the Lord draws near. In our preparation for Easter, God in his providence offers us each year the season of Lent as a sacramental sign of our conversion. Lent summons us and enables us to come back to the Lord wholeheartedly and in every aspect of our life. By devoting more time to prayer, we enable our hearts to root out our secret lies and forms of self-deception, and then to find the consolation God offers. He is our Father, and he wants us to live life well. Almsgiving sets us free from greed and helps us regard our neighbor as a brother or sister. What I possess is never mine alone. How would I like almsgiving to become a genuine style of life for each of us? How would I like us as Christians to follow the example of the apostles and to see in the sharing of our possessions a tangible witness of the communion that is ours in the church? For this reason, I echo St. Paul's exhortation of the Corinthians to take up a collection for the community of Jerusalem as something for which they themselves would benefit. This is all more fitting during the Lenten season, when many groups take up collections to assist churches and peoples in need. Yet I would also hope that, even in our daily encounters with those who beg for our assistance, we would see such requests as coming from God himself. When we give alms, we share in God's providential care for each of his children. If through me God helps someone today, will he not tomorrow provide for my own needs? For no one is more generous than God. Fasting weakens our tendencies to violence. It disarms us and becomes an important opportunity for growth. In the one hand, it allows us to experience what the desolate and the starving have to endure. On the other hand, it expresses our own spiritual hunger and thirst for life in God. Fasting wakes us up. It makes us more attentive to God and our neighbor. It revives our desire to obey God, who alone is capable of satisfying our hunger. Above all, I urge the members of the Church to take up the Lenten journey with enthusiasm, sustained by almsgiving, fasting, and prayer. If at times the flame of charity seems to die in our own hearts, know that this is never the case in the heart of God. He constantly gives us a chance to begin loving anew. During the Easter Vigil, we celebrate once more the moving rite of lighting the Easter candle, drawing from the new fire. This light will slowly overcome the darkness and illuminate the liturgical assembly. May the light of Christ, rising in glory, dispel the darkness of our hearts and minds, and enable us all to relive the experiences of the disciples in our own way to Emmaus. By listening to God's words and drawing nourishment from the table of the Eucharist, may our hearts be ever more ardent in faith, hope, and love. A Lenten prayer. God, Heavenly Father, look upon me and hear my prayer during this holy season of Lent. By the good works you inspire, help me to discipline my body and be renewed in spirit. Without you, I can do nothing. By your Spirit, help me know what is right and be eager in doing your will. Teach me to find new life through penance. Keep me from sin. Help me to live by your commandment of love. God of love, you bring me back to you. Send your Spirit to make me strong in faith and active in good works. May my acts of penance bring me your forgiveness, open my heart to your love, and prepare me for the coming feast of the resurrection of Jesus. Lord, during this Lenten season, nourish me with your way of life and make me one with you in love and prayer. Fill my heart with your love and keep me faithful to the gospel of Christ. Give me the grace to rise above my human weakness. Give me new life by your sacraments, especially the Mass. Father, our source of life, I reach out to you with joy to grasp your hands. Let me walk more readily in your ways. Guide me in your gentle mercy, for left to myself I cannot do your will. Father of love, source of all blessings, help me pass from my old life of sin into a new life of grace. Prepare me for the glory of your kingdom. I ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God forever. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ingrid. Beautiful prayer. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular board meeting of Tuesday, March the 6th, 2018. I would like to ask Vice Chair Marai to inform us of motions adopted in camera and information received.
Motions adopted in camera. A motion regarding property was adopted in camera. Information received in camera. The following information was received. Jim Rolls is appointed as Acting Superintendent of Education effective April 26, 2018 to June 30th, 2018. There's a retirement, Mary Catherine Lafayette, retiring effective June 30th, 2018. And Stephanie McLeod was appointed as Elementary Vice Principal effective March 19th, 2018.
Thank you. Trustees, the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? Trustee Ian Tomasi?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a notice of motion.
Okay. Notice of motion would be 10.5, and I would ask that you read it at that time, unless you feel you would like to read it now, because I know you may leave.
If you'd like, I'll read it now.
If you're well enough.
Yeah, I don't know how long my body's going to last.
If you need help, let us know, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess you'd call it consultation and cooperation of Resolution 61/18, whereas the Education Act, in describing the authority of school boards, sets out in their specific authority to exercise power through policy, whereas decisions or resolutions of the Board of Trustees that govern ongoing actions or have continuous impact on system actions should be documented in policy, whereas the Education Act requires school boards to develop and maintain policies that set clear expectations and standards, whereas as elected officials, trustees are expected to develop policy in an open and accountable manner, and public consultation on policy development is one important way that trustees serve their communities and ensure accountability to their constituents. Whereas it is important to consider a particular policy's effect on different groups, and where possible, consult with the major partners before making significant changes to a particular policy. There's a few whereases. Whereas Section 19 of Ontario Regulation 612/00 under the Education Act requires school boards to consult with school councils with respect to policies and guidelines governing fundraising activities of school councils, whereas Board Resolution number 61/18 imposes specific restrictions on school fundraising activities, but no effort was made to consult with school councils, students, or staff with respect to these significant changes, be it resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board charge the Policy Committee with the mandate to incorporate into Policy V04, School Fundraising Activities, the requirements stipulated in Resolution 61/18. Be it further resolved that the Policy Committee submit Policy V04 as amended for stakeholder input in accordance with the Operating Policy I, Governance of Policy.
Thank you very much, Trustee Ian Tomasi, and we'll make sure that Rosie gets that. Thank you. Any other additions? Trustee Danko?
Chair, I have notices of motion as well.
Was that plural?
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay, just give us a minute. So
well,
that would be...
I'll read them at the information item stage.
Yes, it's just that Trustee Ian Tomasi is not feeling well. So 10.6. Okay, and how many?
5.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Anything else? No? All right. Can I have a mover, please, for the agenda? A mover to approve the agenda. Trustee Trice, seconded by Trustee Ian Tomasi. All in favour? Thank you very much. Any declarations of conflict of interest? None? All right. Thank you. No presentations, but we do have a delegation. Mrs. Alice-Anne Lemay, 5.1, the history of the Oakville decision to run at large. Mrs. Lemay, you can do it right from your seat if you wish. You okay? All right.
Thank you for having me come to be a delegate. I've been quite sick for the past few weeks, and, with bronchitis and whatnot. So I hope I don't fade out on anybody. So, good evening, trustees, senior staff, and guests. This evening, I would like to walk you through the history of why Oakville has voted at large for the past many years. It all started back, I believe, in the early 2000s. At that time, both the federal and provincial governments had changed the alignment of the boundaries in Oakville. The town also said that they would change the ward boundaries in time for the next election to bring them more in line with the federal and provincial. That is when the Oakville trustees decided to run at large, so there would be no confusion when the changes happened. And as an aside, I will tell you right now that we did not consult with the ratepayers or the parents, but that wasn't in the Ontario mandate. Well, in reality, the town kept postponing the decision for many election terms. This year, while they did not change the boundaries much, they have in a couple of them, they also added one more ward. If you go back to look at the agreement, it states that Oakville will run at large until the town makes a decision and then go back to wards. I can tell you from listening to parents and ratepayers that they can't wait to go back to wards. They find the at-large very confusing, and many are never sure who their trustee is. When it comes to their children, they want to know one person to contact. I've had many calls about issues, or I meet them in the grocery store or wherever, when parents say they leave messages and send emails but don't get any reply. This is very discouraging for many frustrated parents. Ratepayers do not support, nor do they want to vote at large anymore. My suggestion to you is if you choose this way, then it is incumbent upon you as a board that claims to be open and transparent to consult with all the parents and ratepayers through schools, parishes, and newspapers and learn how they feel about this. Thank you for allowing me to share my history and thoughts.
Thank you very much, Mrs. LeMay. Do we have any questions for our presenter? Trustee Michael? I'm sorry?
Just for clarification.
Yes, go ahead.
I was saying, when did Oakville go at large? I'm sorry.
Probably the early 2000s, like I can't remember the exact date. Like I was on the board from 1980, at that time it was a 2-year term, then they changed it to 3 years, and now we're up to 4 years, so I can't remember the exact year, but I know that it's written somewhere that when they stopped going at large, they would go back to wards.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mrs. LeMay? Okay. All right, so Alison, as I told you, we are going to be talking about that under number 8.7, but that will be in a little while. I don't know whether you are able to stay.
No, I'd love to stay. I want to stay for the meeting, but I really can't.
So would you like us to call you tomorrow?
Yeah, that would be
or
great.
Or tonight, whichever you wish.
Okay.
Is tomorrow better? Okay. So thank you very much. We do appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mr. LeMay. All right. So we will move on, trustees, with the approval of the minutes, please. 6.1, minutes of the February 20th, 2018 regular board meeting. A mover, please. Trustee Michael. A seconder. Trustee Ian Tomasi. Any questions to the minutes? All right. All in favor? Thank you very much. 6.2, the minutes of the February 26, 2018 special board meeting. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Michael, seconded by? Seconded by? Trustee Trites, thank you. All in favor? I'm sorry, I didn't ask any questions. It was pretty straightforward. All in favor? Thank you very much. All right. Business arising from the previous meetings, a summary of the outstanding items on page 27. And I read that on the weekend. I just can't remember what that was now. What was that? Oh, yes, the student trustees, yes. So that's okay. We're good on that? All right. Moving on to action items, 8.1, the response to the delegation, and I've just spoken with Mrs. LeMay. 8.2, policy 2-26, managing student risk in inter-school sports. I'm sorry. Response? Oh, okay. Oh, we didn't decide anything. Oh, the choices. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. Response from the board. I'll read it. It's 12.7 in our bylaws. The board may make a decision on the presentation at the same meeting, refer the matter to a future meeting, or request a staff report on the matter to be considered at a future meeting. Once the decision is made, the secretary of the board will communicate the board's decision in writing to the spokesperson for the group or the organization. All right. Trustee Quinn.
I'd like to move that we receive as information the delegation from former trustee LeMay.
That would work, I guess. Okay. A seconder, please. Trustee Carabella, thank you. Yes, as you heard, that we will be discussing that at a later point in time. All in favor? Thank you very much. All right, so I'm back on track, Rosie. Okay, thank you. All right, so we are now looking at 8.2, Policy 2-26, Managing Student Risk in Inter-School Sports. Vice Chair Murray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to resolve that the Halton Catholic District School Board accept the recommendation of the Policy Committee that Policy 2-26, Managing Student Risk in Inter-School Sports, elementary and secondary schools, be approved as amended.
Thank you. A seconder, Trustee Quinn. Any questions from trustees? None? All in favor, please? Do you want a recorded vote on this, or are we good? All the student trustees, too? Absolutely. We're going to have a recorded vote. Trustee Murray, you'd like a recorded vote, or no? Okay. Trustee Carabella?
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid?
In favor.
Trustee Intomasi?
In favor.
Trustee Michael?
In favor.
Trustee Trites?
In favor.
Vice Chair Murray?
In favor.
Trustee Danko?
In favor.
Trustee Christina?
In favor.
Trustee Rowe?
In favor.
Trustee Anna Maria?
In favor.
Trustee Quinn?
In favor.
Thank you. 8.3, Policy 2-28, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Drug Abuse in Schools. Vice Chair Murray.
I'd like to resolve the Halton Catholic District School Board accept the recommendation of the Policy Committee that Policy 2-28, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Drug Education in Schools, be approved as amended.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Trustee Carabella. Any questions to that? Nothing? All right. We'll take the vote then. Trustee Quinn.
In favor.
Trustee Anna Maria.
In favor.
Trustee Rowe.
In favor.
Trustee Christina.
In favor.
Trustee Danko.
In favor.
Trustee Trites. Well, I figured you were going to vote for it. Trustee Trites in favor. Trustee Michael.
In favor.
Trustee Intomasi.
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Thank you. 8.4, Policy 3-01, Grievance Procedures, Non-Unionized Group Members. Vice Chair Murray.
I'd like to resolve that the Halton Catholic District School Board accept the recommendation of the Policy Committee that Policy 3-01, Grievance Procedures, Non-Unionized Employee Group Members, be approved as amended.
Thank you. A seconder, please. Trustee Quinn. Any questions to this policy? Nope. Okay, so we're going to take the vote. Trustee Carabella?
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid?
In favor.
Trustee Intomasi?
In favor.
Trustee Michael?
In favor.
Trustee Trites?
In favor.
Vice Chair Murray?
In favor.
Trustee Danko?
In favor.
Trustee Christina?
In favor.
Trustee Rowe?
In favor.
Trustee Anna Maria?
In favor.
Trustee Quinn?
In favor.
Thank you. The next one, 8.5, we're talking about rescinding Policy 3-09, I can't say it tonight, deficiency virus, HIV. Vice Chair Murray.
I'd like to resolve the Halton Catholic District School Board accept the recommendation of the Policy Committee and rescind Policy 3-09, Human Immunodeficiency Virus, HIV.
Any questions on that policy? Seconder, thank you. Any questions? No? Okay, so we will do the recorded vote. Trustee Quinn.
In favor.
Trustee Anna Maria.
In favor.
Trustee Rowe.
In favor?
Trustee Christina.
In favor.
Trustee Danko.
In favor?
Vice Chair Murray.
In favor.
Trustee Trice.
In favor.
Trustee Michael.
In favor.
Trustee Intomasi.
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Thank you. 8.6, recommended names for Oakville Northeast Catholic Elementary School. Superintendent Overholt.
To you, Madam Chair, the following action report provides trustees with the information to determine the recommended names for the new Northeast Oakville Consolidated School Community. Results indicate that St. Michael was the preferred name of those who responded to the survey. Policy I-15, school name selection, does stipulate that a list of two names, a preferred name and an alternate name, be submitted to the Bishop of the Diocese of Hamilton for review and consideration. So trustees are asked to consider the two names recommended for the new Oakville Northeast Catholic School, one preferred and an alternative name, in accordance with Policy I-15, and subject to the Board approval for the two names to the Diocese of Hamilton for consideration by His Excellency Bishop Douglas Crosby. Happy to answer any.
Are you moving that, Trustee Quinn? Thank you. Seconded by Trustee Carabella. Any questions to that report? Trustee Quinn?
Just one question associated with this. I recall that there was mention that the history of St. John will be preserved in some manner in the new school. So there were plans to have the graduate photos and some of the awards and things brought to the new school. Is that correct? And we won't be losing St. John completely?
Yes. Superintendent Overholt.
To you, Madam Chair. Yes, there's a transition committee. Part of that transition committee is in charge of memorabilia, where a number of items will be cataloged, and the committee will be looking at items that will be brought over to the site, where St. John's memory will certainly be there for the history to be kept alive in the community.
All right. Now, what I'm told, and I did ask about this last time, that even though St. Michael's has more students, both schools are generally happy with the name of St. Michael. That's what you're telling me. All right. Now, trustees have to decide on the second name, apparently. So, yes.
I think we need to stipulate in the motion, stipulate in the motion what's the preferred and the alternate. I don't want to assume what Trustee Quinn is suggesting, but usually we take the top two choices from the community survey.
Through you, Madam Chair, it was through the committee, the school naming committee, that it be put out to the trustees for that alternative name. If you look at the results of the survey, they were so close in numbers that they did not want to make that choice. They wanted to put to trustees. Obviously, St. Michael was the overwhelming preferred name. The second one was very close to determine.
Thank you. I'd like to move that we submit St. Michael and St. John as the alternative name to ensure we include the history of that school in some way if possible.
Seconder, please. Do I have a seconder? Trustee Carabella. Any questions or comments to that? Trustee Michael?
I don't know that we should be going away from our preferred choices of names. We've always picked the top two, and although close, there is a second place.
That is very true. There is a second place. So we will vote on this one, I guess, and then we'll go back and look at it. Or does anyone wish to add anything at this moment in time? Any comments on that? Are we going to go straight for a straight vote? We know that St. Michael is going to be number one, so we're going to vote on St. Michael's and John. So I need 5 votes to say St. Michael's and Saints Michael and John. Okay? You're looking at me, Trustee Quinn. Do you have a question? No? Okay. You're waiting for it. Okay. All right. Trustee Carabella, are you in favor of St. Michael and Saints Michael and John being the second choice? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so that's one. Ingrid?
Opposed?
Opposed. Trustee Intomasi?
No. Opposed.
Opposed. Trustee Michael?
Opposed.
Thank you. Trustee Trice?
In favor.
Thank you. Vice Chair Murray?
In favor.
Trustee Danko?
In favor.
Trustee Christina?
Opposed.
Trustee Rowe?
Opposed?
Trustee Anna Maria?
Opposed.
Trustee Quinn?
In favor.
Thank you. That is 5 votes for Saints Michael and John, so that is the second choice. All right? So now we have to go back to the main, I guess, because we haven't been there yet. Have we, Rosie? We do go back to the main, so that would be the amendment. Yes, the amendment. Okay. So, but have we had a mover and seconder for that motion? Yes. Okay. All right. So I guess it's resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board submit to the Bishop of the Diocese of Hamilton for review and consideration 2 names, the preferred name of St. Michael's and an alternate name of Saints Michael and John for the new consolidated Oakville Northeast Catholic Elementary School. As amended? I have to put in as amended? Okay, Jim? Yep. Yes. Yes. Rosie, would you turn that on, please?
Did you read out St. Michael and St. Michael and John?
The consideration for the 2 names, the preferred name of St. Michael and an alternate name of Saints Michael and John.
Okay.
We good? Okay, so we're good. All right.
In favor. Opposed?
In favor.
In favor.
In favor.
In favor. In favor.
In favor.
Favor.
In favor.
In favor.
Point 7, the 2018 municipal election trustee determination and distribution, Superintendent Nagoy and Director Dawson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As presented at the February 20th board meeting, trustees are requested to approve the trustee distribution for the 2018 municipal elections and give consideration to the requirement of proper representation across the region. As supported by the Population Electoral Group report circulated on February 15, staff recommends trustees to reallocate 1 additional trustee to Milton to balance the underrepresentation of these growing municipalities. Trustees should be aware that given the underrepresentation of the town of Milton of 0.714 and the overrepresentation of the town of Oakville by 0.526, we are now at risk of appeal and incurring subsequent costs if the distribution remains status quo and we are challenged. The motion before you confirms that the total number of trustees remains at 9. There's no low population areas to be identified, and Oakville remains the lead municipality. The motion further recommends 2 trustees for Milton and 3 trustees for Oakville, and a by-ward distribution for your consideration that best matches the electoral population by area. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Director Dawson, did you wish to add? Oh, all right, so we're good on that. Okay. So we've got a lot of motions here. Let's take them a couple of, oh, there you are, Fred. Let's take them one at a time, but first, Fred, you want to say something? No? Okay. All right. Are there any questions before we start these motions, because there are a number of them? No? Okay. So the first one is on page 72. I'll read it. Whereas trustee representation should not deviate unduly from the principle of representation by population, be it resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board confirms that the town of Oakville shall be the lead municipality with respect to the October 2018 municipal elections, and that the Halton Catholic District School Board hereby determines not to designate any of the geographic areas in its jurisdiction as low population areas, and that the number of trustees determined for the Halton Catholic District School Board for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustee elections in Halton is 9, and that the number of trustees by geographic distribution is established as 1 for the town of Halton Hills, 2 for the town of Milton, 3 for the city of Burlington, and 3 for the town of Oakville for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustee elections in Halton. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Ian Tomasi, seconded by Trustee Michael. Questions? Trustee Danko.
I'd like to make an amendment. Okay, I'd like in the final, be it resolved that after the words Halton Hills, the word 2 is struck out and replaced with 1. And after the word Burlington and, the word 3 is struck out and replaced with 4, so that the final statement reads that the number of trustees by geographic distribution is established as 1 for the town of Halton Hills, 1 for the town of Milton, 3 for the city of Burlington, and 4 for the town of Oakville for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustee elections in Halton.
So basically that's close.
Yes.
Okay.
I just have one question to anyone, Fred, through you, Madam Chair. When you say not subject to appeal, like as per the OMB, why are we voting on it if it's not subject to appeal?
Now subject for appeal. Both the town of Milton and the town of Oakville are over the quotients, over or under respectively.
In favor?
In favor?
Opposed?
Opposed.
In favor?
In favor.
In favor.
Opposed?
Opposed. Opposed.
In favor. In favor.
Opposed.
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 In favor.
In favor.
In favor?
Opposed.
Opposed?
In favor?
In favor?
Through Madam Chair, that would be correct, yes. We would have to amend the second or the third resolution. Yeah.
I have an amendment. My amendment would be to strike out everything after the word one trustee, and replace it with, so after the period, after the word one trustee, period after trustee, and a new sentence, regardless of the number of trustees, the distribution of trustees for the town of Halton Hills will remain at large, period.
Regardless of the number.
So the motion reads, Catholic, my mistake, I omitted something from my thing. My amendment is that after the comma in the word Halton,
Yes.
to add the words Catholic taxpayers. My amendment is, after the word Halton, comma, to insert the phrase Catholic taxpayers in the town of Halton Hills will be represented by one trustee, period. Regardless of the number of trustees, comma, the distribution of trustees for the town of Halton Hills will remain at large.
There's only one trustee?
That's fine. That's fine.
Be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustees elections in Halton, Catholic school taxpayers of the town of Halton Hills be represented by one trustee, regardless of the number of trustees. Regardless of the number of trustees, distribution of trustees for the town of Halton Hills will remain at large.
Just for semantics, perhaps we could move it, Trustee Danko, the town of Halton Hills be represented by one trustee at large through the combination of the following words, just to not say trustee three times.
I would be satisfied with the resolution saying, be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustees in Halton, Catholic taxpayers in the town of Halton Hills will be represented by one trustee at large.
Getting better.
How's that?
Okay, getting better. All right. Okay. So, you have a seconder for that, Trustee Quinn? All right. Do trustees need that reread to them? Do you wish that to be read to you again, or are we ready for the vote? Ready for the vote or no? Sorry, yes. Yes.
To you, Madam Chair, I don't really see the point in this unless this is Trustees Danko way of setting it up for all the rest of the municipalities. Right now, I don't see that we're going to be getting a second trustee for Halton Hills in any time near in the future. So by approving this amendment, we are now locking in any kind of future, whatever happens, for another set of trustees, I don't know how many years down the road.
This is just for one election. We come back at the next election cycle. It's just for this one election, so it is up to trustees, but it's only for this one election.
If you're not satisfied with it or you don't want this, then you can vote against the amendment. All right? Any other questions, or should we take the vote? Do we need to hear this again? Yes or no? Yes again, please. Please, Rosie.
Be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustees election in Halton, Catholic taxpayers, the town of Halton Hills, be represented by one trustee at large.
Thank you. All right, ready for the vote. Trustee Quinn.
In favor.
This is the amendment. Trustee Anna Maria.
In favor.
Trustee Rowe.
Opposed?
Trustee Christina.
Opposed.
Trustee Danko.
In favor?
Vice Chair Murray.
In favor.
Trustee Trice.
In favor.
Trustee Michael.
Opposed.
Trustee Intomasi.
Opposed.
Trustee Ingrid.
Opposed.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
How many? 5 again. Isn't that a surprise? Okay, thank you. The main motion. As amended. Pardon me, we haven't got there yet. We're going to have to go through them individually. Yeah. Okay, so let us see. So the motion as amended. Would you like it read again? No? All right. Trustee Carabella, the main motion.
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid.
Opposed.
Trustee Intomasi.
Opposed.
Trustee Michael.
Opposed.
Trustee Trice.
In favor.
Vice Chair Murray.
In favor.
Trustee Danko.
In favor?
Trustee Christina.
Opposed.
Trustee Rowe.
Opposed.
Trustee Anna Maria.
Opposed.
Trustee Quinn.
In favor.
How many? 5. Excuse me? No comments. No comments, as you know, Keith. Thank you. All right, the next one. Resolution, read it. Let's just see now. We've got to change this because I guess it's the same thing for Milton, since you have denied Milton a second trustee. Is that correct, or did I have a bad dream? No, I'm correct. Okay. Be it resolved, let's see, for the 2018 Catholic School Trustees election in Halton, the town of Milton will be represented by 1 trustee, and probably the same wording as the Halton Hills one would be applicable. Is that right? At large. Rosie, could you move that, please? But that would be an amendment. Someone would have to make that amendment. Yes. Trustee Danko, there's only 1 trustee again.
I have an amendment for you.
Oh, okay, good.
So the final resolution would read, be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustee election in Halton, Catholic taxpayers in the town of Milton will be represented by 1 trustee, period. Regardless of the number of trustees, the distribution of trustees for the town of Milton will remain at large.
It doesn't have, I'll be right with you. It doesn't have, this is what we just went through with Georgetown, with Halton Hills.
Right.
It doesn't, we're saying regardless of the number of trustees, it only has 1. Right?
That's fine. If we lose an appeal, then we're prepared to be at large.
Well, I'm not sure we want to do that in Milton. Trustee Quinn.
It was a point of order. I think we have to get this resolution on the table first, and then if he cares to amend it, then we have to vote to that.
That's true. You're quite correct. Thank you. Thank you. A mover, please, to get this on the table. Trustee Quinn, seconded by Trustee Michael. It's on the table. Could you read again, please, Rosie, the one for Halton Hills?
Be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic Trustee election in Halton, Catholic taxpayers of the town of Halton Hills be represented by 1 trustee at large.
Thank you. All right, so it's on the table, and you want to make your amendment?
May I make my amendment now?
Yes, go ahead.
Chair Rabenda, I move that we amend the resolution as following. Inserting the phrase Catholic taxpayers in the before town of Milton, and after will be represented by 1 trustee, period. And then the following sentence to replace the word statements. Regardless of the number of trustees, the distribution of trustees for the town of Milton will remain at large.
All right, do we have a seconder for that? Trustee Carabella. I will be voting on this particular issue. Yes, go ahead.
I just wondered when we lost sight of what we're here for. Like, we're here for, just read through the mission statement. The word student and child comes up a lot of times. Everybody's here for their own interests right now, and it's a game, and it's pitiful.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to make a comment? All right, thank you very much, Trustee Michael. All right, so where are we at? Voting on the amendment. Can we have Trustee Carabella?
In favor?
Trustee Ingrid?
Opposed.
Trustee Intomasi?
Opposed.
Trustee Michael?
Opposed.
Trustee Trites?
In favor?
Vice Chair Murray?
In favor.
Trustee Danko?
In favor?
Trustee Christina?
Opposed.
Trustee Rowe?
Opposed.
Trustee Anna Maria?
Opposed.
Trustee Quinn?
In favor.
I'm opposed. 5-4. You know, I really thought that when we went through the last meeting that things would change a little bit here, and they haven't. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Are you discounting the vote of the will of the board with that comment?
I'm making a comment that I'm seeing the same thing. I'm not discounting the vote of the board, so let's not start anything, Anthony. Let's move on to the next one. We're voting on the main motion now, as amended. Trustee Carabella.
In favor?
Trustee Ingrid.
Opposed.
Trustee Intomasi.
Opposed.
Trustee Michael.
Opposed.
Trustee Trites.
In favor?
Vice Chair Murray.
In favor.
Trustee Danko.
In favor?
Trustee Christina.
Opposed.
Trustee Rowe.
Opposed.
Trustee Anna Maria.
Opposed.
Trustee Quinn.
In favor.
And I'm opposed, I guess, right? Okay. 5-4. Okay. Now, the next one is Burlington. Mover, please, I better read it. Be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustee elections in Halton, the City of Burlington will be represented by 3 trustees through the combination of the following wards. A, Geographic Area 4, Wards 1 and 2. B, Geographic Area 5, Wards 3 and 6. C, Geographic Area 6, Wards 4 and 5. That is the motion. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Intomasi, seconded by Trustee Quinn. Any questions or comments to this particular motion? Trustee Danko.
Chair Rabenda, I'd like to make an amendment.
Yes.
I would like to insert after the Halton comma, Catholic taxpayers in the, and then after the period, after trustees, to strike out the text that comes after that word, put a period, and insert the text, regardless of the number of trustees, the distribution of trustees for the City of Burlington will be at large. Period. Yeah.
In favor.
Opposed.
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 In favor?
In favor.
In favor? In favor. No, opposed. Opposed.
Opposed.
In favor?
I'm just having a... Yes, Trustee Intomasi.
If we're back to the main motion, I want to make a comment, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, where do I start? Obviously, this is a coup, or it's a prearranged agreement between all the Oakville trustees and one Burlington trustee to change everything to at-large because they don't want to go by ward. So I just want that on the record because they like everything transparent, they like it on camera, there it is. Okay? I mean, anybody sitting in the room can see it. People are just sitting here in awe as the behavior that's going on in this board right now. We sit here, we talk about transparency, we talk about consultation. Where is any of it, folks? You are the same people that sit here, meeting after meeting. We have to consult with the stakeholders. Where the hell is it? I'm sorry, you guys do whatever the hell you want. Just roll it all out. I've never been so disgusted with a Catholic board in my life. I sit at Oxta, I listen to other trustees from all across this province who value and cherish what they have, and you people are just taking it and flushing it piece by piece down the sewer. Shame on you.
Thank you, Trustee Intomasi. And now we have Trustee Trites and then Trustee Michael.
Thank you. I'm going to speak to this because I've put some thought and consideration into it. I appreciate the opportunity to address this issue, and I've given it much thought since it was brought to our attention as an info item 2 weeks ago. At large versus wards. I think it's a reason common. Thank you. And what would be best for Burlington from the perspective of constituents and trustees? Excuse me. From the constituent and stakeholder perspective, at large, I believe, would be more efficacious and better. At large would provide constituents and stakeholders access to all trustees. And that is the 3 in Burlington, not just in the ones that we represent through our wards. For in reality, this is what we can do. We do tend to speak and interact and go to events that are in our wards. This can, and in fact, does silo us. It really does. And not only the trustees, but also the constituents and the stakeholders. There's nothing to stop constituents and stakeholders to be in touch with more than one trustee. In fact, this would work together more collaboratively, and one trustee is working together, reaching out to each other. From a trustee perspective, at large would remove us from our silos, positions, and our perspectives. This, of course, it'll take time. It needs to filter down, but we'll get there as we change our own perspectives and our habits. Theory becomes concrete practice as time goes on, and this shift in attitude is adopted. As well, we'll achieve homogeny. All the districts in the Catholic will end up being at large. I'm sorry, it's a difference of opinion, but I think a homogeny is important as well. We are reminded through our OXTA, our trustee association, and at times at this board, that we represent every student in the Halton district. So breaking that down, every student, constituent, and stakeholder of our city or our town, it's harder to do when we're in wards. I think the better representation is achieved by all trustees being available to everybody. I have put a lot of thought and consideration into this, and there's a rationale behind it.
Thank you. Trustee Intomasi, is that to the point? Because Trustee Michael is next. This is to Trustee Trites' point? Okay.
We are already all available to any constituent all through Halton. That's what we're here to do. What this does is makes it more difficult for the stakeholders, for the constituents, to know who is representing them, who that person is. These are large areas. They're large geographically. They're large demographically. And they are diverse. And the person who is at one end of the area has no idea who the person that's been representing this area or that area is. Furthermore, what at large does is allows people to combine and run as blocks. Because unfortunately, we're not running for the mayor here. We are running as trustees. We're not highly paid. And this is a very expensive venture for individuals who are even thinking of becoming trustees. So, quite frankly, I have to respectfully disagree with Trustee Trites in that we're already available, we're already going to everything, but what this does is hurts our own constituent in our own riding who is used to having somebody local so they know automatically who to call.
Thank you. And Trustee Michael, you have the floor.
Through you, Madam Chair, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your speech. It was good. Secondly, because Burlington so vehemently opposed at large the one time that they came in, is there not a possibility to put this out to the stakeholders and ask what they would like for a change?
If we're going to do that, we should probably do it to the whole system.
That's what I think we should do.
We've already got 2 resolutions on the board. All right. I'm sorry. All right, then would you like to make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I move that
We
we,
have the time?
I can't make a motion.
Point of order. We have a motion on the table.
As amended. And has been discussed a couple of times.
I not amend it.
Yeah, you have to finish the business first. Or postpone it or something.
Right, we have to take the vote on the main motion as amended. Okay, so we're ready to vote on that one. Burlington, Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid.
Opposed.
Trustee Intomasi.
Opposed.
Trustee Michael.
Opposed.
Trustee Trites.
In favor.
Vice Chair Murray.
In favor.
Trustee Danko.
In favor?
Trustee Christina.
Opposed.
Trustee Rowe.
Opposed.
Trustee Anna Maria.
Opposed.
Trustee Quinn.
In favor.
Thank you. 5-4 again. Okay, so we will go down and do Oakville, and then we'll come back to your suggestion.
Why? Why can't we talk about it now?
We could, but are you going to apply that because we haven't done Oakville yet? We haven't discussed Oakville.
Well, I don't really, they've
So-
already decided what they're doing in Oakville, but I want to put Burlington out to stakeholders consultation if at all possible.
Well, if we're going to do consultation, we normally do it to an entire system.
Okay.
Okay, so if we finish Oakville, and then we'll talk about whether or not the board would like to have consultation with stakeholders. Fair enough? Are we good? Are we okay with that? Okay. All right. So we're going to do Oakville, and then we'll talk about consultation as Trustee Michael is interested in that, and I'm sure there may be others interested in that, but we'll see. Okay, so the next resolution at Oakville. Be it resolved that for the 2018 English Catholic School Trustee elections in Halton, the town of Oakville be represented by 3 trustees through the combination of the following wards. A, Geographic Area 7, Wards 1, 2, and 3. B, Geographic Area 8, Wards 4 and 7. And C, Geographic Area 9, Wards 5 and 6. Now, I believe I have to change that to 4 because you changed it to 4 in the earlier resolution. Am I correct? Yes? Haven't got there yet. We're moving that, changing that from 3 to 4? Yeah. Yep, okay. All right, a move by? Someone in Oakville, somebody's got to move that one. Mark, thank you.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Sorry?
I think you have to put it on the floor as it's on the paper, and then we can change it.
Didn't I, we're talking about the Oakville section. I just read the motion. And I'm asking for a mover and a seconder.
But you attempted to change it as you were reading the motion. It has to be brought to the floor, and then we can amend it on the floor.
Did I just not do that? I read it. I'm asking for a mover and a seconder. Am I wrong? Just leave it as 3 and then they'll change it. Okay, all right, okay. All right, I'll do an amendment then. Okay, Trustee Rowe moved it, seconded by? Trustee Quinn. Okay, so then I guess we'll have to go back to it. All right, so that's the motion on the floor, and it's at 3. I can't change it to 4, even though we changed it to 4 previously. Trustee Danko.
Amanda, I have an amendment.
Yes?
After the word Halton, comma,
Yes?
insert the phrase Catholic taxpayers in. And then after the word represented by, change it to 4
Yes?
trustees, period. Delete all the text after the word trustees and replace it with a new sentence. Regardless of the number of trustees, the distribution of trustees for the town of Oakville will remain at large. Period.
Okay, a seconder for that? Trustee Carabella. Any questions to that? Okay, so we're voting on the amendment. Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Ingrid.
Opposed.
Trustee Intomasi.
Opposed, why change now?
Trustee Michael.
Opposed.
Trustee Trites.
In favor.
Trustee Vice Chair Murray.
In favor.
Trustee Danko.
In favor?
Trustee Christina.
Opposed.
Trustee Rowe.
Opposed.
Trustee Anna Maria.
Opposed.
Trustee Quinn?
In favor.
All right, so that's the amendment done. So now we're back to the main motion. Trustee Quinn?
In favor.
Trustee Anna Maria?
In favor?
Trustee Rowe?
Opposed.
Trustee Christina?
Opposed.
Trustee Danko?
In favor?
Vice Chair Murray?
In favor.
Trustee Trice?
In favor.
Trustee Michael?
Opposed.
Trustee Ian Tomasi?
Opposed.
Trustee Ingrid?
Opposed.
Trustee Carabella?
In favor.
5-4. All right. Sorry? You didn't vote. Oh. Okay. All right. All right. That's that done? Jane, Trustee Michael, your particular issue, would you like to make a motion on that?
I don't really think there's much point, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Well, you want stakeholder input,
Yes,
certainly?
I move that we have stakeholder input.
On the moving towards, moving to everything at large, is that the gist of it?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Do you want to put that into a sentence?
I move that the inane amendments be put out to stakeholder consultation. Can you put it in a sentence for me, please,
For
Rosie?
stakeholder consultation?
Be it resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board move to have stakeholder input on the moving to at-large in all of Halton?
No. Yeah, no. Yes. Yes.
For the basis of voting in the election? Okay.
All right. Jim, is that, all right? Okay. A mover, a seconder? Trustee Ian Tomasi. Comments or questions to that? Trustee Rowe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wondered if Trustee Michael might consider just sending the all 5 motions for consultation, because I think the taxpayers of Milton should get a chance to comment as well.
Of course. Thought that I thought, yeah, it was for everybody anyway.
A comment? I would just like to reiterate that there is no reason that this motion should not pass. We are here we should be held accountable for the decisions we make at the board table, and in doing so, we should be open to always hearing feedback from our stakeholders at all time on all decisions that we made. So there should be no reason that this motion passes, in my belief. That this motion doesn't pass, in my belief.
Thank you. Trustee Quinn, and then Trustee Rowe.
Thank you. Through Madam Chair, to Fred, can you remind us of the timelines for these submissions to the province?
Through Madam Chair, thankfully we have till April 3rd to submit our D&D report, or distribution and determination report, to the municipalities. So as long as we have till the next board meeting where we can bring this back if need be. And again, we can always deal with it. The D&D report, most of the work is already done. So whatever comes of the consultation, we'll have time to put it back together.
All right, so we can get that back by in preparation for the 20th of March board meeting?
We have to, through Madam Chair, we have to submit on April 3rd, so if it passes that as well, we can certainly hurry up offense to complete the report.
When's the first April board meeting? 3rd, oh, okay, tight.
The report, the D&D report, to clarify, through Madam Chair, is what we submit to the municipalities advising what the board decided on in their determination and distribution.
Thank you very much. All right, so we have a mover. Yes. Trustee Rowe, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so I'm glad that we have time so that the trustees around the table who've always supported, as I think Trustee Ingrid said, transparency and consultation, will give their ideas a chance with the public who elected them in the first place.
Thank you. So we have a mover and we have a seconder. Yes, Rosie? Yes. Okay. So any other comments before the vote? Okay. Yes.
This agenda item was not on the agenda, and there was no notice given of this.
No, but it's come out of this. It's come out of this discussion. Is that a problem, Jim?
It's relevant to the previous motion.
Okay. All right. So we are now voting on if we are agreeable to Trustee Michael's motion to seek stakeholder input on this particular issue of the elections and the geographic areas, and whether they wish to be at large or in wards, whether the stakeholders wish to be at large or in wards. Am I correct? Okay. Trustee Carabella?
Opposed.
You're opposed to stakeholder consultation? Am I understanding? I just want to make sure, since you're the first one, you're opposed to the stakeholder consultation.
I am, because of the, I'm in Oakville and at large, and I'm happy with the at large. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, this is for stakeholder consultation. Okay? All right, I just want to make sure we all understand. Trustee Ingrid?
In favor.
Trustee Intomasi?
In favor.
Trustee Michael?
In favor.
Trustee Trice?
In favor.
Vice Chair Murray?
Opposed.
Trustee Danko?
Opposed?
Trustee Christina?
In favor.
Trustee Rowe?
In favor.
Trustee Anna Maria?
In favor.
Trustee Quinn?
Opposed.
And I'm in favor. Okay, it was a tie and I broke the tie. It goes for stakeholder consultation. Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. All right. I don't know what Alison's going to say to this. Staff reports. 9.1, recommended names for Milton number 8, Ford Catholic Elementary School, Superintendent Cipriano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I present the staff report regarding the naming of the new Milton number 8, Ford Catholic Elementary School. This report outlines the process, the timelines, and the consultation process undertaken for the naming of the school. The school name selection committee consisted of our chair, yourself, Diane Rabenda, Father James Petrie from St. Benedict Parish in Milton, Christina Stajdhar, who is a parent of children who will be attending the new school in Milton, as well as the new principal that was named earlier in January, Aaron Sweeney Hurd. The committee reviewed stakeholder input for names to consider, as well as considering other names that were brought forward at that meeting. 4 names from that larger list were shortlisted after reviewing the input and the history of the names. Those 4 names that were shortlisted were St. Agatha, St. Kateri Tekakwitha, St. Maria Goretti, and St. Scholastica. You have the 4 names before you in the report under Appendix B with a brief history of who they are. Between February 5th and February 16th, members of the new school community were asked through an email invitation to select their top choice from the selected shortlist. You have before you on page 2 of the report the results of that voting on the 4 suggested names. As you can see, St. Maria Goretti was the most favorable name chosen by the community. Our next steps will be to bring back this as an action report with the preferred name, as per our policy 115, St. Maria Goretti, and the alternate name, St. Scholastica, to the March 20th regular meeting of the board, as the name to be submitted to Bishop Crosby for his consideration and response. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions, trustees? So St. Maria Goretti and then St. Scholastica. Any questions? No? All right, so that will come back as Superintendent Cipriano said. Trustee Intomasi.
To you, Madam Chair. I'm just curious, perhaps Superintendent Cipriano can enlighten me. It seems that St. Kateri keeps on showing up at the bottom end of the list. And I'm just wondering if you or any of the other superintendents could enlighten me as to why that never seems to rise to the top when we are one of the few Catholic boards in the province and that are not using the name, and the fact that also we have a very progressive Indigenous advisory council here, and somehow this just keeps slipping through the cracks.
Sure, through you, Madam Chair. Some of the comments that I've seen in the past for Milton number 8, also some comments, I believe, from last year or 2 years prior for St. Gregory, and even anecdotally at some of the meetings that I've attended, one of the biggest challenges are parents believe that their children have a difficulty in pronouncing the name. That's the one that is both anecdotally and some of the feedback that we've received in the parent response is what we get here the most. That would probably be the only drawback. I do know that both our chair, our director, and myself have received a lot of input from students around our board, not just from the Milton number 8 community, but students from Burlington, from Oakville, and from Christ the King in Georgetown, who were hoping to see St. Kateri as the preferred name. As per our policy I-15, as per has been our practice, as just earlier you voted on St. Michael, our practice has always been, as through our policy, to go with the name that was the most selected. Once again, as trustees, you have the ability to change the policy and to possibly make decisions to move towards that naming a future school after St. Kateri. But that's typically been the answer that I've heard from parents.
Questions for Superintendent Cipriano? No? All right, thank you very much. And you're staying on for 9.2, the school year calendar, 2018 to 2019.
And thank you again, Madam Chair. I present the staff report outlining the proposed school year calendar for the 2018-19 school year. Just as a reminder, the Ministry of Education outlines certain criteria for public school boards in Ontario to meet with regard to school calendars. It must begin on or after September the 1st and end on or before June 30th. The minimum number of school days is 194, and of those, school boards must dedicate 3 to professional activity days under provincial priorities, and we have the ability to designate 4 more days. Ultimately, school year calendars must consist of a minimum of 187 instructional days. Our school year calendar committee met this year on January the 25th. The committee makeup included all of our stakeholders, including CPIC, OECTA unit presidents from both our elementary and secondary schools units, and I believe they're both here in the audience tonight, CUPE 3166 and 5200 representatives, principal associations from elementary and secondary, and an HSST representative from our transportation consortium, as well as you, once again, Dan, our chair, was also present. I've also been consulting with our coterminous board, and we try our best to align our calendars in order to meet as many cost savings as possible through transportation. And I'm very happy to report that our calendar is fully aligned with the Halton District School Board's calendar. Appendix A of the staff report outlines all the significant days for the planned 2018-19 school year. And once again, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, and thank you to the committee that worked so hard on that. Any questions from trustees? Trustee Quinn.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. I understand there is at least one school board in Ontario that follows a full year with different breaks than the traditional school year. And I'm wondering what the feedback has been on that model of a full year of school, and if our board has ever discussed it at this committee level.
It's been discussed on and off. Superintendent Cipriano?
Through you, Madam Chair, this committee did not discuss that this year or the past year when I was working on the committee. I do know, as you just mentioned, that the board itself have talked about possible full year school years. The boards in the province that I'm aware of that have full years full year schooling, even within those boards, it's specific high schools that pilot those full year calendars, and I do know that they do often take into account all stakeholders because it really does require support of the different union groups, parent groups, and support from the board.
Thank you. Yes, it would have to have pretty well everyone in agreement, including stakeholders, of course, because of parents have children in different schools, so it makes holidays difficult. Okay, where are we now? 9.3, and you're back for this, good. St. Peter Catholic Elementary School Child Care Addition approval to proceed with school capital planning. Superintendent Merrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you, this report presents the approval to proceed with capital planning and the architect selection for the recently funded St. Peter's School Child Care Center addition. As a reminder, it's a 5-room child care center that was approved for St. Peter's in Milton. The project is fully funded for just over $2.5 million by the ministry, and the projected start date would be early 2019 with completion and opening for September of 2019. We'll be bringing 2 or 3 resolutions for trustee consideration to the March 20th meeting. The first to proceed with architect selection and approval to proceed. The second to approve the project budget of approximately $2.5 million, and the third to approve the borrowing bylaw to finance the project. I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Trustee Quinn.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Does the province provide any additional funding for staff time that our board has to expend on building this project of the early years or the daycare spaces from our staff, or any additional hours that it would be taking away from the usual roles of building schools and maintaining schools?
Well, they give us money for it. Superintendent Merrick.
Yeah, the funding for any contractors or professional fees that we associate with the project are funded by the ministry, where staff time is not, but they do provide other sources of school renewal funding that can be used on operations as well.
Any other questions? None? Okay, thank you very much, Ryan. Information items, 10.1, student trustee update. Trustee Ingrid.
Thank you very much. So yesterday we held our student senate meeting at Holy Trinity, where we talked about the upcoming See the Problem, Be the Solution Gala, which will be held on April 5th at Jean Vanier. Our submissions have come in, and we are very excited to promote the new system of electronic voting meant to gather a wider amount of feedback from the students as to which submissions they believe are better. So we're very excited about this new system that just got implemented this year. We also, schools at our board are promoting Lenten activities, and we are still working on our international students initiatives, in which we are doing social events at the schools to make sure our international students feel well integrated into our school communities. The student trustees are working as best to move forward with the media coverage that the board has gotten. We are very conscientious of trying to promote an atmosphere where all students, especially the upcoming student trustees, feel that their voice is welcomed at a board level, because even if it goes against the decision of the board, it should be respected and cherished, because they are the people that we're here for. And our goal here as trustees is to do right by our students. We believe that some of the comments made recently have disregarded our roles, our views, and the credibility of our student voice as a whole, and we're meant to belittle our voice as student trustees. Our voice and our vote should be treated as equal and with an equal amount of respect, even though it is non-binding. We urge our board to consider the voices and the wishes of the students more deeply in all aspects, regardless of personal ideas or benefits trustees may have, and because the students are the ones who have to live with the decisions that are made around the board table each day. And I'm going to pass it on to Anna.
Who's taking it now?
I will.
Anna Maria, Trustee Anna Maria.
On the topic of Student Senate, we're underway in planning our second annual leadership conference. Last year we hosted over 50 secondary school students. The senators will be tasked in leading their own leadership breakout sessions on the theme of surpassing barriers, and the participants will be able to hear from a guest speaker, network with like-minded students, and partake in valuable leadership initiatives within their own schools. Going off of Ingrid, as student trustees of the board, we hope to continue to sustain an environment in which we as student representatives, our roles, our views, and student voice as a whole is not only heard but taken into serious consideration. We believe we hold substantial value to this board in keeping individuals around the table accountable for the actions. And furthermore, our votes as student trustees may not be binding, but they do represent the very students of the board and thus should be treated with equal consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Christina.
We believe that as students, even though we have opposing views regarding a specific motion, our voices are valid and must be respected. It is unacceptable that we be penalized from certain trustees for voicing the opinions of our largest stakeholders, the students. Anthony Quinn recently spoke to LifeSite News and claimed that the board, and especially the student trustees, have a misunderstanding of Catholic and moral teachings. However, we believe that Anthony Quinn has no right to speak to the views, understanding of religion, or morals of an individual because they oppose his own ideologies. We also believe that it is extremely necessary that Trustee Quinn give an apology for speaking wrongfully about the morals and level of Catholicism of the student trustees and all of the members of the board.
Thank you. Excuse me. Oh, please. All right, any other comments? No? All right, thank you. Thank you, ladies. And now we are on, where are we? Field trips. School educational field trips 10.2, Superintendent McGillicuddy.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you, submitted are the approved school educational trips for information.
Thank you. Any questions to the school trips? None? All right. Thank you. 10.3, Council for Exceptional Children, CEC, Division on Autism and Developmental Disabilities, DADD Conference. Dr. Brown.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair, I provide the trustees information about two of our staff members who I recognize here in the audience this evening, Karen McCarthy and Claudia Baumann, who traveled to the Council for Exceptional Children Division on Autism and Developmental Disabilities Conference to present to the conference the science behind the breath. A presentation focused on the work being done here in Halton, specifically for students with developmental disabilities and autism who might suffer from mental health concerns and particularly anxiety. This is a really large conference and a really prestigious conference, and having a presentation accepted is something that we were extremely proud of. Certainly proud of our work here in Halton, and having it recognized for such an audience was a real honor. Just a side note, we both Ms. Baumann and McCarthy called me from the conference and said, Brendan, everyone here is a PhD. Like, what are we gonna say here? And they didn't even include our MEds at the end of our presentation. I said, guys, you guys are the most credible people in the room, and they're going to be lining up to listen to you because of the work that you're doing. Well, as it turned out, our staff, they went through all of their cards. They created such a stir at the conference that every session they went to after, they were actually acknowledged and recognized as the experts in the room because of the work that they're doing on the ground. So we're extremely proud of the leadership that we continue to encourage here in Halton Catholic, that when we take on projects, we do them to the best of our ability, and then we share our work into audiences that are willing to listen so that we can make a difference. So really proud of our team representing Halton Catholic, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that trustees have, and certainly Claudia and Karen are here to answer any questions that trustees might have about the conference itself.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Trustee Intomasi?
Just a comment, as a member of SEAC, I know there's several of us here at the table, and I do have to say that month after month we are truly blessed to have the staff that we have and to have the commitment that we have, led by Dr. Brown, of course, and I know that even the committee themselves appreciate how Halton Catholic goes that extra mile wherever possible.
Yes, it's always a very positive meeting that we have. Any other comments? No? All right, thank you. 10.4, 2018-2019 Budget Consultation Process. Summary of feedback, Dr. Collymore and Ms. Swindon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And through you, as we did last year, we are gathering feedback on our annual budget process in 3 ways this year: through an online survey, which we've just completed, via email, and by telephone town hall. The report that is before trustees contains the feedback received so far through the online survey and the emails up until March 1st. The online survey was made available between February 15th and February 26th, 2018. A total of 1,592 respondents completed the survey, which is up from last year's budget survey, in which 1,438 responses were received. Of the 1,592 respondents, 468 also responded to the open-ended question. And the main themes identified through the open-ended questions, as well as all the summary of feedback received through the online survey, is attached in your report as Appendix A. We also, in addition to the online survey, submitted an invitation for members of the community to email Aaron Lofts, our Senior Administrator of Business Services. 3 emails were received up until March 1st, and they are attached in Appendix B. And in addition, we will be facilitating a telephone town hall on Monday, March 19th, beginning at 7 p.m. This will be facilitated and moderated by a company called Telephone Town Hall Meeting. We had a good response to this consultation format last year, with a total of 579 parents participating. The session provides a brief overview of the budget process and invites parents to share their thoughts and ask questions of trustees and senior staff, as well as participate in a poll. In terms of communicating about the telephone town hall, an initial email has been sent out to parents on March 1st with a mark your calendar, letting them know that more information would be coming. We will be sending out 2 more emails, one of them this week on Thursday, March 8th, with a link to the budget strategy session presentation and a recording of the session, and a reminder about on the Sunday evening before the telephone town hall. We will also be sending out a news release next week and promoting this through social media. The feedback received in this report before trustees tonight will be used to guide the 2018-2019 budget process, and I'm happy to respond to any questions with regard to the feedback.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Andrea? None? Trustee Quinn?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, we're going to do the automatic call where we call out to all the numbers of stakeholders that we have.
That's right.
And then those who decide to listen in can listen to the town hall.
That's right.
And can we post a number as well for people who don't receive the call if they're on their cell phone?
We can. We do receive a 1-800 number from the company, and we're looking into that right now. I know there's been a request, and we do usually post that through social media the night of the call, just in case parents miss the call, and we will be sending that through social media.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much, Andrea. 10.5 was Trustee Ian Tomasi's notice of motion, and you've lost it very well over there. So we don't need to talk about that again at all, Trustee Ian Tomasi? You good? Okay. So 10.6, I believe, Trustee Danko, you have 5 notices of motion? Is that correct? Okay. So we'll take the first one is 10.6.
Madam Chair, the motions are the same ones we just passed.
Oh, okay.
So I'll leave them in for the next meeting.
Okay.
They're exactly the same as what was just passed.
You never fail to surprise me, I tell you. All right, thank you. Okay, miscellaneous information, 11.1, minutes of the January 23rd, 2018 Policy Committee meeting. We have correspondence there from Reverend Peter Meyer, from Reverend Jim Petrie, from Mr. Harvey, from, is it Miss Pinot? Miss Pinot, and from Father Schleck. So please take note of that. Do we have any open questions, Rosie? No? Okay. We do not have to go back into in-camera. We have no absentees, so we need adjournment and a closing prayer, and it's 9 o'clock. Did I miss something? Did I leave something out? Okay. Can I have a mover, please, to adjourn? Trustee Ian Tomasi, seconded by Trustee Michael. All in favor? Thank you. And we'll ask Trustee Danko to lead us in prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. A student's prayer. Creator of all things, true source of light and wisdom, lofty source of all being, graciously let a ray of your brilliance penetrate into the darkness of my understanding, and take from me the double darkness in which I have been born, sin and ignorance. Give me a sharp sense of understanding, a retentive memory, and the ability to grasp things correctly and fundamentally. Grant me the talent of being exact in my explanations, and the ability to express myself with thoroughness and charm. Point out the beginning, direct the progress, help in the completion through Christ our Lord. St. Thomas Aquinas, pray for us.
Thank you very much to all our guests this evening. We really appreciate you spending the evening with us. And a safe trip home to everyone. Thank you to staff for our hard work, and to trustees for their many contributions. And to our students, who are just amazing. Thank you.